I am COVID positive. Yes guys, it's me, Doc Junji, ang tropa mong residente, and I am COVID positive. Well, I used to be. So let me tell you about how everything went down, what I experienced, what I realized, and at the end of this video, you might pick up a thing or two from my experience. Now, not coming from a doctor, but coming from someone who had COVID. I last uploaded a video here on YouTube last August 31, and at that time, I was working on a script about a rant that I had about COVID and yung mga nakikita kong type of cases sa ER. And that some of my fellow frontliners, including me, felt like it was just a matter of time until we ourselves got COVID. Na it felt like people don't take COVID as seriously as they should. Then, before I got to finish that script on September 4, that was my first off na day. That's when I felt my first symptom, which was body malaise. Para sa mga non-medical professionals watching this video, body malaise is defined as the feeling of general discomfort, uneasiness, or pain. Often the first sign of an infection or another disease. And yes, that's from Wikipedia. Nagamit din kami mga doktor ng Wikipedia, pero so ayun na nga, para ako nanlalambot, literally parang wala akong energy. Yung tipong kahit Milo, hindi kayang isolve. It was really weird kasi I had good sleep that night before, kasi nga off ako. So nung una hindi ko pa naisip na baka COVID to, until a few hours later. My throat started to get itchy. Ayun na, nangangati na, lalamunan ko. Sabi ko, shit, iba na this, iba na to. Siyempre, dahil EM tayo, kailangan relax lang. So, kinalma ko yung sarili ko. Inisip ko, wala lang to, makati lang yung lalamunan, baka napapraning lang ako. Nagtry ako umamoy ng vape juice ko. May naaamoy naman ako. So, ayun, kalma lang, relax. Baka kailangan ko lang magpahinga. So, nagpahinga ako. September 5 came around, I woke up, meron pa ding body malaise, makati pa rin yung lalamunan ko. Pero, mabigat na yung katawan ko. So, iba na talaga eh. I checked my temperature, 37.6 Celsius. Ano ba yung normal? Ang normal na temperature kasi is 36.5 to 37.5. Yan yung sa axillary, yung sa kilikili kinukuha, no? So, ayun na nga, may sinat na ako. Nag-inform na ako sa mga kasama kong EM residents na ganun na nga yung nararamdaman ko. And everybody was like... What made things more complicated was the fact that I was living with my parents. So, automatic, close contact ko agad sila. Oo, isolated ako sa kanila pag uwi ko. Hiwalay ako nakain sa kanila. Pero syempre, di mo pa rin maiiwasan mapalapit sa kanila from time to time. That whole day, nag-iisip na lang talaga ako ng gagawin kasi it was like a little bit of panic in me, and also may konting dilemma din kasi. Kasi kung bibilangin, September 4 ako unang nagka-symptoms, September 5 pa lang yon. So technically, that would be my day 2 of symptoms. Now, bakit significant yon? Kasi dapat at least third day of symptoms ka bago ka magpa-swab test. Kasi at that point, mas mababa na yung chance na magkaroon ka ng false negative result. Now, what is a false negative result? A false negative is yung sinasabi ng test result na wala kang sakit kahit meron ka talaga ng sakit. Bakit nagfo-false negative pagka masyado kang maaga nagpa-swab? It's because kulang pa yung virus sa katawan mo, hindi pa siya nakakapag-replicate enough para ma-detect ng machine yung dami niya. So, ayun na nga, day 2 pa lang ako. So, what do? Test na muna, wag muna, pahinga lang muna. So, what I did was, I messaged my seniors, I told them what happened, and they told me na magpa-test na. Kasi medyo matindi na yung symptoms ko eh. And at that time, malapit na rin ako mag-day 3 ng symptoms kasi that was around 5-6 p.m. na that day. But before I went sa ER, I had to tell my parents what's happening. So, kahit nasa kabilang room ako, tinawagan ko sila and I told them how I was feeling and that pupunta ako sa ER. Sa ER, pag-check nila sa vital signs ko, may fever na talaga ako. Hindi na lang siya sinat. From 37.6 earlier, 38.1 na yung temperature ko sa ER. So, my complete blood count was checked, chest x-ray was done, pinaswab ako, dapat papauwiin na ako, pero may isang test pa silang pinagawa before ako pinaalis, and that was the rapid antigen test. Rapid antigen test, I would get the result in around an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Now, siguro iniisip niyo, teka lang, Doc, di ba ayaw niyo ng mga doktor ng rapid test na yan? Well, iba kasi to. Antigen ito at hindi rapid antibody test. Anong pagkakaiba? Sa rapid antibody test, yung panlaban ng katawan natin sa COVID, yung hinahanap dun sa test. Sa rapid antigen test naman, yung virus mismo, yung hinahanap nila sa test. So, ayaw namin ng rapid antibody test dahil matagal gumawa ng panlaban yung katawan natin sa COVID. Minsan umaabot ng 2-3 weeks after pa ng infection bago ka mag-positive sa rapid antibody test. So in those 2 to 3 weeks, madami ka nang nahawaan bago ka pa mag-positive dun sa test. Kaya ayaw namin yun. So mabalik tayo sa kwento. Di na-test na nga ako, so umuwi na ako. That was around 10-11 p.m. Nakakulong ako sa kwarto. Kinakabahan, medyo optimistic pa rin kasi kahit papano may pang-amoy pa rin ako eh. Pero at 11 p.m., tumawag sa akin yung training officer namin. Positive daw ako sa rapid antigen test. At this point, I knew na mataas na yung chance na magpa-positive talaga ako sa swab. May mga sinasabi pa siya sa akin sa phone, sumasagot ako, pero ang iniisip ko talaga at that time is yung parents ko. High-risk exposure sila sa akin. Pareho silang senior citizen. Parehong diabetic. Parehong hypertensive. Yung isa may heart problem pa. And I've seen this before sa ER. Nagkahawaan yung magkakamag-anak because they live in the same space. So after the call, I was advised na ma-admit na for quarantine. Ayoko sana, pero on the other hand, I think it was good na mapapahiwalay muna ako sa parents ko to prevent any further infection. I was admitted 1 a.m. of September 6. To be honest, I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. Madami akong iniisip. May nahawaan ba ako sa magulang ko? Saan ko to nakuha? Kailan pa ako nagkaroon? Mild lang kaya to? Magpro-progress kaya to? Kasi I've read and seen a lot of stories na walang nararamdaman yung patient and then biglang magpro-progress into severe, which is scary, super scary. Eventually, I fell asleep, woke up afternoon of September 6, wala na akong pangamoy. The medical term for that is anosmia. Like legit, hindi barado yung ilong ko or whatever, wala talaga akong maamoy. Few hours later, few more symptoms popped up. Nagdiarrhea ako, I had sore throat. Yung pangangati ng lalamunan ko, it progressed into pain. As in, masakit talaga. Madalas akong magka-sore throat dati, pero ito yung pinakamasakit na sore throat na na-experience ko. Like, parang may tumutusok talaga. Ang hirap lumunok. Hi guys! Junji here, ang tropa mong residente, and in this video, itutour ko kayo sa kwarto ko. So, syempre, andito yung hospital bed. Yan, ito yung bag ko. Tapos, hindi na sila dito nag-oxygen tank kasi social na dito sa 3600, nandito na siya lahat. Tapos, meron na rin siyang suction dyan. Ang tawag po dito ay sofa. Ayan yung bag ko. That's my bag. And may HEPA filter sila dito, so ayos na ayos yan. And then, libreng stuff. Meron akong isang bote ng alcohol. And also ref. Pero hindi siya nakasaksak ngayon. Sasaksak na lang siya mamaya. And ito yung weird. May salamin yung door.
So, pagka natutulog ako sa kama, nakikita ko ng mga taong dumadaan, which is invasion of privacy. Anyway, TV, may cable naman, so ayos na ayos yun. Cabinets, and also, andito na yung food. Sa next video ko, i-unbox natin yung food. Meron na akong breakfast, and then lunch, and snack. See you guys in the next video.
The next few days passed, relatively benign naman. Lumabas na yung RT-PCR swab result ko a few days later, and yes, positive nga ako. Expected? Yes. Happy na tama yung hula ko? No. At that point, okay naman yung oxygen saturation ko or yung amount of oxygen in my blood. Once na lang ulit ako nag-fever, eventually nawala na yung diarrhea ko, nawala yung body malaise, natira na lang talaga yung sore throat and occasional cough. Akala ko, okay na ako. On September 12, my worst fear came true. My mom messaged me. Inuubo na daw siya. At first naisip ko, wala lang yan. Baka pagod lang. Minsan naman talaga nagkakaubo si mommy. Pero di pa din mawala sa akin yung pag-aalala. Iniisip ko na lang na I was trying to convince myself na ubo lang yan. Days went by, palagi pa rin ako nagpapa-update kay mommy kung kamusta na siya. Sinabihan ko na din yung dad ko na mag-isolate muna. Huwag muna lumapit masyado kay mommy. Di naman nagkaroon ng bagong symptoms si mommy, pero bilang anak at bilang doktor, nag-aalala talaga ako kasi high-risk exposure siya sa akin eh. And the difference is, pwedeng sa akin mild lang, pero dahil sa kanya, dahil may edad siya, tapos meron pa siyang ibang sakit, baka iba yung maging epekto sa kanya. Pero ayun na nga, medyo panatag pa rin ako na wala naman siyang ibang symptoms. At this point, wala na akong symptoms maliban sa anosmia. Wala na rin akong ubo, wala na yung sore throat, pero wala pa din akong pangamoy. Like yung Jollibee na langhap sarap, sarap lang, walang langhap. Wala akong maamoy talaga. I was feeling better, but di talaga mapalagay yung loob ko sa situation ni mommy. So, medyo nagpaparamdam na ako sa doctor ko na nag-admit sa akin, which is Doktora Nicole Alabado, shoutout kay ma'am. An infectious disease specialist. Nagparamdam na ako sa kanya na, ma'am, Dok, parang gusto ko na umuwi. At first, medyo ayaw pa niya ako i-discharge kasi uuwi ako sa bahay and doon nga yung parents ko. Pumayag lang siya na makauwi ako if may setup namin yung bahay na isolated talaga ako sa parents ko. So, inayos ng parents ko yung house na magkakaroon ako ng passageway from outside the house into my room na diretso, na wala akong ibang dadaanan sa bahay namin. I was discharged September 15, still for home quarantine because of anosmia. Di pa rin ako nakiklear ma-back to work because for the criteria ng WHO to release from isolation yung isang COVID positive is dapat 10 days from onset of symptoms and 3 days na free ka, symptom-free. Yung 10 days na yon, it could be extended hanggang may symptom ka pa. Pag wala na, saka ka lang magsisimula ng 3 extra days. Pag wala na talagang symptoms, back to work ka na. Pero syempre, kailangan mo pa rin ng clearance. The problem with me was I still had anosmia. Di talaga siya nawawala. It actually was pretty scary kasi iniisip ko noong time na yun na baka hindi na talaga bumalik yung pang-amoy ko. At home, lagi kong tinetext yung barangay nurse para ma-monitor yung lagay ko. I was isolating, kumakain ako separately, hindi ako lumalapit sa parents ko. Most of the time, nasa kwarto lang talaga ako. But even when I was in my room, I can still hear my mom coughing a lot. I told her to monitor her temperature palagi. Lagi ko siyang tinatanong kung may nararamdaman ba siya, hirap huminga, hapo, madaling mapagod, bla bla bla. Wala naman daw. Ubo lang talaga. Gusto ko na din sila ipaswab at this point para malaman na, but I was informed na nung nag-swab positive ako, na-inform naman na yung community health office about my close contacts and hinihintay na lang yung pag-schedule nila. I was growing impatient. Pero I was trying to understand the situation kasi alam ko naman na madaming kailangang maswab eh. And ayoko magpa-VIP dahil doktor ako or whatever. On September 16, mga bandang hapon na, nag-check ng temperature yung mom ko. 38.5. My mom now has cough and fever.
And in my head, I was just like crushed. Like a building crumbled down. I knew what this was. Hindi ko na may tatanggi sa sarili ko. Pero, syempre, I had to stay calm and in control. Kasi, pag ako nagpanic, paano pa yung pasyente ko, di ba? So, I told her na uminom ng paracetamol. Buti na lang, meron kaming stock sa bahay. Gusto ko na talaga siya ipaswab. Di ako nakatulog the whole night thinking kung anong gagawin ko, kung mag-positive siya or whatever. To be honest, I was anxious, I was overthinking, and also angry at myself. Kasi if COVID nga to, then she most probably got it from me. And if only I just isolated myself properly, paggaling ako sa duty ko, baka hindi ko siya nahawaan. The morning of September 17 came. The nurse informed me na my mom and my dad are for swabbing on that day. Somewhere in Barangay Sampaloc, Dasma. Anyway, quick timeline review. First symptom ko was September 4. Admitted ako ng September 6. Lumabas na positive swab ako around September 9. My mom had her first symptom September 12. And masaswab lang sila noong September 17. So, you think what you like about that. If di ko sinabihan yung parents ko na mag-isolate, can you imagine how many people they would have come in contact with? Now, back to the story. September 17, pag-alis nila mami para maswab, I called up Dr. Alabado and informed her that my mom had fever the night before. Pero hindi naman na umulit. She got worried. She knew that my parents both have diabetes and hypertension. When she got worried, I got even more worried. She wanted my mom to be admitted na para if there were any problems, magawan agad ng paraan. At first, I was thinking na wala naman yung fever niya, hindi naman umulit, hindi naman mahirap huminga, okay naman yung oxygen saturation niya, baka pwedeng dito na lang muna sa bahay. Dr. Alabado then asked me, gusto mo bang lumala muna bago natin gawa ng paraan? Kasi mahirap habulin yan pag lumala na. At this point, I wanted to slap myself kasi oo nga, ito yung palaging linya ko sa mga relatives ng pasyente ko sa ER. Bakit ngayon nyo lang po dinala, ngayong malala na? Doon ako natauhan and I said, okay. I called up my senior on duty sa ER and told him about the situation. Sobrang thankful ako kasi inayos nila lahat. Sila yung tumawag sa admitting, sila yung nagpa-reserve ng room for my mom, and thankfully, at that time, may available na room. I called up my mom, told her, for admission ka na. Ready na lahat sa ER, ikaw na lang yung hinihintay doon. She wanted to eat muna sa bahay, so we had our food delivered muna. We ate, she packed her stuff, and then I brought her to the ER. At the ER, everything na ginawa sa akin, ginawa din sa mom ko. But there was a difference sa x-ray namin. Binasahan siya ng radiologist ng pneumonitis on her right lung. Basically, pneumonitis is an inflammation of her lung tissue. And sa akin, medyo nakakatakot na yun. Kasi simula pa lang, may findings na siya. Yung sa akin, kahit nung nag-chest CT scan ako, walang nakita sa akin. But I calmed myself down, explained to her kung ano yung nakita, and that mag-start na kami ng antibiotics for that. Also, may fever na ulit siya that time. Pero I was trying to stay optimistic na lagnat lang yan, gumagana naman yung paracetamol. But deep down, sobrang natatakot ako kung anong pwedeng mangyari. Ito yung panahon na I felt like I knew too much. I've seen too many people with this disease and I know where this small finding could go. And it scared the living shit out of me. And it was very hard to keep a strong demeanor at that time. Then, after waiting for a few hours, test results came back. Her inflammatory markers were high. Pero hindi man super taas. Antibiotics were given na nagbigay na rin ng paracetamol na wala din yung fever. Naiakyat na siya sa room, na-admit na siya. I had to go home. I had to leave my mom kasi technically I should still be in home quarantine. But I had no choice. I just tried to protect myself and other people as much as I can. It was so hard leaving her sa hospital. I knew that she was afraid to be alone pero pinapalis na din niya ako para sa safety ko. Kasi para sa kanya, magaling na ako and baka mahawa ulit ako sa kanya. Very motherly, but that's just how she is. So umuwi ako, video call sana palagi, but then umaatake yung ubo niya pagka nagsasalita siya. So it's hard. Minsan chat na lang, lagi siyang tulog. At this point, okay naman yung blood oxygen niya, hindi siya hirap huminga. Inuubo lang talaga and wala pa ding pangamoy. Meron pa ding fever episodes pero paminsan-minsan lang. Hindi din sobrang taas and pag umiinom siya ng paracetamol, nawawala naman. Dumalaw ako sa kanya saglit noong September 19. I brought some clothes. We talked for a bit. That was my birthday. September 19. Probably the saddest birthday I've ever had. Ni hindi man lang kami makakain ng sabay kasi hindi ako pwede kumain sa room niya. Siyempre kasi pag kumain ako doon, magtatanggal ako ng mask and risk that exposure. She was sad too, pero the one thing na nakakalma and nagpatapang sa mom ko was when she was told by one of her doctors earlier that day na if she needed anything, magsabi lang siya. And that sila ang bahala sa kanya. She told her na di namin kayo pababayaan. Junji is one of ours. And nung kwento niya sa akin yun, she was literally in tears. She said na di niya akalain na masasabihan siya ng ganong linya ng isang doktor kasi di niya akalaing magkakaanak siya ng doktor in the first place. From where we came from, nobody thought na magiging doktor ako. September 20, I woke up that morning. Nag-message siya sa akin ng vital signs niya. She had fever. So, binigyan siya ng paracetamol. Just before lunch, nag-message siya ulit sa akin ng temperature niya. May fever pa rin siya. This was different na. Dati, isang paracetamol lang, nawawala na yung fever niya. Ngayon, walang naging effect. Thankfully, she was under the care of great doctors. They did a repeat of her labs and x-ray. Her inflammatory markers almost doubled from her admission. And yung x-ray niya from pneumonitis, it's now progressed into pneumonia of both lower lungs. She was now considered severe COVID. It would be an understatement if sabihin ko sa inyo na di ako mapakali nung time na yun. I was in shock. I was in panic. I'm training to be able to handle these kinds of events as a doctor, pero not as a relative. My mind was all over the place. But then I remembered who was in the hospital. It was my mom, Tess Arapan, ang pinaka-relihiyosang babaeng kilala ko. And what would she do sa ganitong panahon? Pray. And so I did. I found an online mass at Don Bosco Parish. I was crying almost the whole time during the mass, but it calmed me down. I was like, I'm lifting all of this to you. Literally, Jesus take the wheel. I just let go. Kasi it's out of my hands. I had no control over this. Walang specific na gamot or treatment. Everything is undergoing early studies. So sabi ko kay God, it's up to you. And I knew na yun din yung iniisip ng mom ko at that time.
So I was informed na nag-start na sila sa mom ko ng dexamethasone and remdesivir. Dexamethasone is a steroid that controls inflammation, and some good studies na have come out na nagba-back up sa kanya as a good drug for severe COVID pneumonia. Remdesivir is a broad-spectrum antiviral drug naman. Basically, it stops viruses. Hindi siya specific for COVID, but like Dexa, there are good studies out there that says na it provides positive outcomes sa patient na nabibigyan nun. And from then, it was just a waiting game. Hintayin na lang kung magiging maganda ba yung epekto kay mommy or not. And that's a thing that I didn't like nung IM resident ako. I didn't like waiting. I'm a very impatient person. Like, pag nagbigay ako ng gamot ngayon, gusto ko may result agad. So, I was really, it was really a test of character. I explained sa mom ko kung ano yung nangyayari, trying to use words na hindi nakakatakot and hindi nakaka-intimidate. September 21 came, no fever for 24 hours, stable blood oxygen, occasional cough. Tumawag sa akin si mommy, she was excited. I asked why. She said, nakakaamoy na ako. I almost fucking fainted. Like, a load was lifted off of me. It was a good sign. September 22, 23, 24, more of the same, clinically stable. September 25 was like the day of truth. And she was scheduled for rechecking of her laboratory results. We waited anxiously, pero medyo optimistic na talaga ako at that time. Kasi clinically, gumaganda na yung pinapakita ni Mami. Pero I've seen sa COVID, minsan mukhang stable yung pasyente mo, but the lab results says otherwise. Results came that afternoon, inflammatory markers went down, no progression sa x-ray, very good result. She was observed overnight, discharged the next day. As of today, my mom still has effects from COVID. She has this post-viral cough. Inuubo pa din, pero mostly from the scar left by the infection. Hindi na siya infectious. She's starting to go back to her old routine sa bahay, doing plantita things. Pinagagalitan ako, naglilinis ng kung ano-ano. Ako naman, I'm back sa ER, going on duties. But now, a little bit more cautious and a little bit more paranoid. We've set up our house na hiwalay silang dalawa sa akin as much as possible. So, what's the one thing about COVID that you wouldn't know until you have it? I think it's that when you have COVID, you'll realize how difficult and painful it is mentally to be sick and alone at the same time. I can only imagine what goes through the heads of those critical patients pag hirap na sila huminga and wala man lang silang makitang loved ones. Just imagine how frightening it is to think of yourself dying with nobody around you. So, kung may napulot kayo dito sa napakahabang video na to, guys, it's that we need to take this pandemic seriously. Protect yourselves at all times. Protect your family. If our government won't protect us, it's your responsibility to protect yourselves and your family. Masks, distancing, and yes, sige, pwede na. Face shields. Wear your masks properly. Cover your nose and your mouth. Magpalit regularly ng mask. Hindi yung once a week ka lang magpapalit. Hindi yung dati mong white na mask, brown na, pero yun pa rin yung sinusuot mo. Wala na yun. Baka mas magkasakit ka pa doon. Palit palagi. Stay at least 6 feet apart or approximately 2 arms length. Hindi kasya sa video. And put your face shields in your face. Hindi sa buhok, hindi sa ulo. Ibinababa. Okay? Ibaba nyo yung face shield nyo. Huwag nyong ilalabas yung ilong nyo dun sa mask. It's not... Wait. It should be like this. Not this. And also, not this. Here, covered yung nose, covered yung mouth. And yung bakal, laging naandito sa may ilong. You pinch that para yumakap sa mukha nyo. Okay? Thank you guys for watching. It's been me, ang tropa mong residente. Keep safe and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace!